Good morning from Epsom Racecourse, where I'm joined by James Deller, who is the Metropolitan Police's most senior Special Constable or police volunteer. James, thank you. We're going to spend the first portion of this conversation learning a little bit about your background, James. What led you to become a Special Constable, and just a little bit about your other policing experience. So tell us, let's start with you refreshing our memory from previous recording as to what it was that led you to become a Special Constable.
So my interest in policing goes right back to my childhood, and as I mentioned before, my paternal uncle, my father's brother, was a sergeant in Devon and Cornwall Police, and he was a bit of a hero to me, and I got the opportunity to visit him in the police stations and learn a lot more about policing from him. Despite his best efforts to try and put me off being a police officer, he failed miserably, but he did give me a really good piece of advice, which was get yourself a trade. So if policing doesn't work out for you, you've always got something to fall back on. Well, in fact, I never went into policing full time. I actually stayed in the trade which I followed, which was learning and development. So I started my policing career in 1993 in Dyfed Powys whilst I was a student, and spent 3 fantastic years policing a very small town in mid-Wales called Lampeter. And I learned amazing things whilst policing there, the importance of the relationship the police have with the community and building that relationship and being part of that community, and that was critical. So even when you weren't in uniform, people recognised you as being a police officer, and that to me made me feel extremely privileged and proud, but also a huge sense of responsibility, because they were looking to you as a police officer on occasions to be somebody important within the community, to intervene if necessary. So I spent 3 years doing that, and my 3rd year I was actually then living in Bristol, and I would travel back the journey of 100 miles every other Friday to go and do policing back in Lampeter. So that was my level of commitment. After I'd finished at university in Bristol, where I was training to be a teacher, I got a job up in East Yorkshire. So I transferred to Humberside Special Constabulary and had 3 fantastic years there, working in a small town called Pocklington, which was situated between York and Hull. Again, a small town, a rural town, surrounded by fantastic countryside. But what again it was important to remember is that you were part of the community, and it was also the town I taught in as well. So no sooner did I finish doing my day job as a teacher, I would make my way on occasion straight to the police station, get changed, take a police car out and go out.
So can I just ask on that? So were you a secondary school teacher?
I was, yes.
And did you, in your policing role, did you ever find any of your students coming to your attention?
Yes, I have on occasions had cause in my career to have actually arrested some of the people I've taught. But at the same time, that's important. You know, I have 2 roles to play within the community, and it would be wrong for me to step away from that responsibility of arresting them. What it did give me the opportunity to do was use that connection with that individual to try to progress things in a slightly different manner, because I understood the individual.
You've got the backstory.
And also understood how to work with young people as well. And some of my colleagues sometimes find young people a bit of a challenge. So being a teacher, I had that little sort of ability to use to at my disposal.
So you've gone from Lampeter in Dyfed Powys up to Pocklington, North Yorkshire, I think.
It's East Yorkshire, Humberside.
So apologies to those in Pocklington for associating you with the wrong force and county. And then in due course, heading south to the Metropolitan Police area.
Well, actually, I moved down to Surrey in 1999, got a job teaching in Epsom in a school, and I then transferred to Surrey Police, and that's where my connection with this fantastic place all began. I originally was based in Caterham in East Surrey, But on the 1st of April 2000, when Surrey Police took over responsibility for policing Epsom in the boundary changes, I came to Epsom on the 1st of April, and I arrived literally just after the strike of midnight. And as the Metropolitan Police cars were leaving one side of the building at Epsom Police Station, for those viewers who understand the police station, there is another side, and I came in with the Surrey cars. So I was the first first Surrey Police Special to be based actually at Epsom Police Station, and I was actually the last because I went on to work there, and I had my office there in my day job. So I was the first and the last special in that building before it closed.
We drove past a building that you pointed out to me a little earlier on. That no longer is a police station, a white cottage, quite near on the island. For those that know Epsom, that's sort of surrounded on four sides by one-way traffic. That's the building that you were in, is it?
No, that's the very old police station, and that was the police station where Sergeant Thomas Green was based. And in 1919, and on the 17th of June, there was a riot in Epsom. The police were called to the Rifleman pub, and Canadian soldiers were arrested and taken to the police station that was there. A riot followed where literally hundreds of Canadian soldiers who were based just outside Epsom after the First World War, before they were going to go back to Canada, they all besieged the police station. Sergeant Green, Thomas Green, left the police station to try to remonstrate with them, and was found later, sadly, succumbed to injuries caused by the Canadian soldiers and died, and he's buried in the cemetery here in Epsom. I've always loved history and linking it to the police, so to have that little anecdote, to know about that story and still see the features of that story around today.
I don't know how you squeeze so much into the hours of the day. Let's continue walking just a little bit further. You remark there on some historical matters, and we're just approaching something on the bend here, at one of the bends here at Epsom Racecourse, that suggests to me that this is the plaque that you mentioned to me a little earlier on.
It is. It's the plaque to Emily Davidson, who was the suffragette who threw herself in front of the King's horse during the Epsom Derby, and you can see the plaque here.
Let's just move close up to it. And so it was from this place on the 4th of June 1913 that suffragette Emily Wilding Davison sustained injuries that resulted in her death. Her lifelong dedication to women's suffrage and the contribution she made to the lives of British women, past and present, is remembered. So, fascinating piece of history. A day, the 4th of June 1913, when she gave her life in the support of the suffragette movement here in Britain.
So she was taken from here to the Epsom Cottage Hospital. In fact, it's my doctor's surgery, so every time I go there, there's a little bit of history always reminds me of her. And it's quite special because she stood for something she fully believed in, and she was willing to give her life for her commitment, her passion and her beliefs. And to some extent I can understand her commitment, and as a police officer, as a special, it's become a lifelong commitment. It's something that, it isn't something I switch on and off. It's something that I thoroughly believe in, that what I'm doing is good, proper and just, and I'm willing to put myself in harm's way for those beliefs. So when I see a plaque like that, I'm always reminded that there are other people who have made the sacrifice for at least, yes, it was making a political statement, but sometimes what's really important is that people have those beliefs, that they're willing to go to the extent that she did to make sure her beliefs were heard. And we all know what's happened since. It changed the face of history with women's votes, and we can see as we track through over history how that has made a difference. And one of the things I'm very keen to link back to Emily Davison is I want to see more female leaders within the police force and within the Special Constabulary in particular. And so she is a pioneer to the importance of women stepping forwards and and being counted, and I want to see more of those within the Special Constabulary.
James, thank you so much for that introduction to your background in policing. We're going to move on to another part now of the racecourse, where we're going to record a piece on what it is that you're looking to achieve in your time as the Metropolitan Police's Chief Special Officer. And I know that that includes elements that relates to recruitment of more women into the Special Constabulary. It indeed includes, I think, at least 4 R's, which we'll come on to in a very short while. But for the time being, thank you so much for that introduction to your policing career.
Thank you.